What is a mindset of a top listing agent like? If you know how a top listing agent thinks, then you can do what a top listing agent does, and then you can have what a top listing agent has. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk to you about in this episode of the Top Listing Agent Show. So stay tuned.
Welcome to the Top Listing Agent Show, the place to be to stay on the cutting edge of what it takes to sell more homes in less time. Each week, your host, Chadi, Bazzi, will share with you the best skill sets, systems, and strategies so you can become a top listing agent. And now, let the show begin.
Hey there, Chadi Bazzi here, and welcome to episode number 6 of the Top Listing Agent Show. This week, we're going to talk about the mindset of a top listing agent. Now, if you haven't already done so, last week, in episode number 5, we talked about what are the common denominators of all top listing agents. That was one killer episode that you definitely want to go back and listen to if you haven't already done so, especially if you have a goal to become a top listing agent. And you know what? We're going to continue this top listing agent conversation, just you and I, for at least the next couple of weeks before we get back to the interview series and the Q&A and all that good stuff. So definitely make sure you check out every single episode. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin and tackle this mindset conversation of a top listing agent. So I put down right here, I began by saying, look, your attitude about everything in life and everything in business is a product of your mindset. Look, the word mindset, okay, mindset, you set your mind, you set your mental thermostat to be hot or cold. Hot obviously means positive, so you turn on the positivity, you turn on the negativity, and look, positive mindset equals positive attitude, negative mindset equals negative attitude. So before the attitude, we have the mindset. It's something that you have 100% control of. So how do we control our mindset so we can go ahead and impact our results? We're going to do it exactly the way I've been exposed to this. And this was like a huge breakthrough for me. I mean, we're going back to approximately, I'd say about 17, 18 years ago when I first heard this conversation. And if you know anything about me, I mean, I came from, a marketplace, Dearborn, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit. And, the mindset, I had growing up was like, you gotta you got to get somebody before somebody gets you. You got to be protecting yourself from every single person, from every single situation. So it's like you were always on the defense and always thinking offense. And I mean, what a mindset to live into. Okay. And then I didn't know that I was in control of my mindset, but I was a product of my environment, etc. And something we talked about last week in episode number 5 is you are a product of your environment. But now we're talking about the actual mindset. And here's a 4-step process before I get into the 10 most common mindset tactics of a top listing agent. I want you to think about a time in your life right now. Okay, like I want you to visualize this with me for the next couple of minutes. I want you to think about a time in your life, whether it's when you were a lot younger or recent or whatever. Think about a time in your life to where you could, in your mind, recall, okay, a negative occurrence, okay, a negative obstacle you were facing, a negative challenge that you've encountered, etc. So imagine something like, really think about, something like think about it. So have that conversation with yourself, like, through pictures, through however you process information, about a negative time in your life. And think about that. I mean, as you're thinking about it right now, I'm not going to say think about it for the next 20, 30 minutes. I want you to pay attention to this conversation. But as you think about that, imagine if you thought about that negative situation for the next 5 minutes. Okay? You had that self-conversation. This is what we call your self-talk, the conversation in your head. If you're thinking about a negative situation, you're having a negative conversation in your mind. If you sat down for 3 to 5 minutes and had that negative conversation with yourself, do you think that will ultimately have any kind of impact on your attitude in that moment? You better believe it's going to have an impact on your attitude. The question is it going to have a positive impact or a negative impact on your attitude? Well, if you're having a negative conversation, then it's definitely going to have a negative impact. And if it's gonna alter your attitude in a negative manner. And all of a sudden you find yourself, being in a state of having a negative attitude. If you are having a negative attitude, will your attitude impact, the actions that you take, or whether you take an action or not? Well, of course. I mean, if you have a negative attitude, you're more likely to take either a no action or a negative action. So, and then the actions that you take are always going to produce a result. I mean, if you took no action, it's obviously a no result. If you took a negative action, it's obviously a negative result. Okay? So, and then when you produce a negative result, guess what happens to your mind? Your mind says, see, I told you you couldn't do it, etc. So it's like a vicious cycle. Okay? It goes from negative self-talk to negative attitude to negative actions to negative results, and then it circles back again. So what I'm trying to demonstrate to you here, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is like, one of the big secrets of a top listing agent is they understand that everything begins and finishes in their head. It begins in their head. It begins by the conversation that they are having in their mind. It's a vicious cycle. So if the conversation in your head, which you are in control of that conversation that you have in your mind, if that conversation is a positive conversation, then it is going to positively impact your attitude. And when you have a positively impacted attitude, you're more likely to take an action. You're more likely to take a positive, impactful action that's going to give you a positive, impactful result. And then your mindset is going to be like, oh, that was easy. And then guess what? The vicious cycle is a much more powerful one, a powerful one that you are in control of. Now, I get that this mind of yours is a self-talking machine that's having a conversation pretty much 24 hours a day. The majority of the time, it's a conversation that you're not even aware that you are having. And that's why you got to keep on feeding your mind with positivity, like we talked about in the common denominators of all top listing agents in episode number 5. You definitely got to go back and check that out. We said your input determines your output. So if you could control a small percentage of the time, you're aware of the conversation and, you're controlling that positive conversation in your head, then what's happening is during the time that you're not even aware of what conversation is taking place in your head because of all the programming that you've done during your consciously awareness time, you're going to have much more positive, impactful self-talk beyond your awareness. And that's where the magic starts to appear in your life and in more situations than not. Okay, so guys, listen. Positive mindset, positive attitude, positive actions, positive results. So now, let's dive into, let's examine the mindset of a top listing agent. I got 10 of them right here. I put down number 1. A top listing agent sees the positive in everything. A top listing agent sees the positive in everything. They live in the white world. Like if you live in a black or white world, they live more in the white than they do in the black, and they get rid of as much gray as possible. Okay, so they see the positive in everything. And if we were to compare, a top listing agent, but here's the thing, this goes above and beyond the top listing agent mindset. This is the mindset of the most successful people on the planet. It doesn't matter if you're in athletics, if you're in business, if it's in parenting, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Okay, you see the positive in everything. Because look, we're going to take a look at the opposite of these 10. You either live in the world of I see the positive in every single situation because there's a lesson to be learned there, or you see the negative in everything in every single situation. If you're living in that black side of the world, then what's happening here is that you're not really taking responsibility for everything. And that was one of the common denominators that we talked about last week in episode number 5 of the Top Listing Agent Show, is that top listing agents are responsible people. So number one, they see the positive in everything. Number two, a top listing agent is someone who believes in themselves. They believe in themselves. I mean, think about top listing agent in your marketplace. Think about a top listing agent in your marketplace. Does that person, whether you know that person on a personal level or not, and I want you to think more right now of the person whom you don't know personally. Just observing them from the outside and thinking about them right now, do they appear as if they are someone who believes in themselves, yes or no? You and I both know the answer. The answer is yes, they believe in themselves. Now think about the people that you know are top listing agents and that you know on a personal level, and ask yourself, do they believe in themselves? The answer is yes. See, you are, the life that you are living right now is a product of your belief system, okay? You know, if your value, your net worth is a specific level right now, it's because you believe that that's the level that you belong in right now. So in order for you to get to the next level, you know, you first got to up level your belief system. You got to see yourself as someone who is worthy of having that next level experience, that next level result. Okay. So number two is, you know, in examining the mindset of a top listing agent is they believe in themselves. So you got to develop that belief system. So we said the top listing agent, they believe in themselves. Everyone, we'll just say everyone else. Okay, I'm not going to put everyone in the category. We'll just say the opposite of that is they don't believe in themselves. Okay. Number three, they have a mentality of taking risks. They take risks. Okay, look, it's been said over and over and over again. One of the big breakthroughs I had, again, about 17, 18 years ago. And I keep repeating this 17, 18 years ago because 17, 18 years ago was when I really delved into the personal development world. It's when I really committed myself to being the absolute best at everything I do. And, you know, I just read so many books, exposed myself to some of the greatest trainers in the world, hired the best mentors, hung out with the best people. And somebody said to me, Chadi, the greatest risk, the biggest risk you can take in life is the risk of not taking a risk. It's the risk of not taking a risk. I mean, imagine, 18 years ago when I took a big risk. And the big risk was, I sold my home in Michigan. I've never really been, past Ohio, which was, 45 minutes outside of Michigan. And I drove cross country to Newport Beach, California. I've never been in California before in my life. I mean, that was a huge risk. Had I not taken that risk, where would I be right now? I guarantee you I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I don't know where I would be, but I'll tell you, it wouldn't be as pretty as it is right now. So look, top listing agents, they take risks. Picking up the phone and calling for sale by owner is taking a risk. The risk of getting rejected, etc. But it's also you taking a risk of creating an outcome. A risk of having an opportunity to assist somebody in selling their home and earning big money, top dollar, etc. Okay, you're taking a risk by not even taking a risk. But I want you to become a calculated risk taker. Okay, just take risks and go for it. And it goes back to point number two. If you believe in yourself, you're more likely to take more risk. Okay, so number three is they take risks. Number four, they make quick decisions. Top listing agent makes a quick decision. Look, there's nothing to think about. You get the objection from buyers and sellers and friends and family. When they, you talk to somebody about something and they say, well, I need to think it over. Well, what is there to think about? Like literally, is somebody going to say, okay, let me put down right here on my schedule at 7 p.m. tomorrow. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to think over this situation. No. Look, top listing agents, they make quick decisions. Successful people make quick decisions. Okay, and I'm going to come back and compare that against the opposite to give it a little bit more clarity, to give it a little bit more impact, and to sell you on these top listing agent mindset shifts that you need to make so you can become a top listing agent. Let's go to point number 5. They are persistent. They are persistent. They are persistent. Okay, so they are closers. Closers. What is it? To close somebody is to persist, okay, to get the outcome that you are wanting. That's closing on somebody. That's being a closer. Persistence, okay? Somebody told me a long time ago that the most common thing, some of the most common things that all successful people have in common were, persistency and consistency. So you got to consistently persist. You got to be consistent, persistent. Consistently, persistently. Okay? They are persistent. They know what they want. They know why they want it. And they are persistent in going after it every single day. Okay, so persistency is number 5. Number 6, they think long term. They think long term. They don't just think about that one buyer as that one deal. They don't think about that one seller as that one deal. Okay, lifetime value of a client. That's how I want you to think. That's how a top listing agent thinks. Lifetime value. You got to be thinking long term, not just right now. Look, I just got off the phone with somebody who's asking me a question about a decision they got to make. They're trying to get my opinion. And, I was like, thinking about it, and I was like, all right, so if he is a yes about making that move, he's going to solve a short-term obstacle, that he's experiencing in his business right now. But if he says no, then he is going to be solving a long-term situation. Okay? Everybody wants that quick fix. Everybody wants that quick fix. And a lot of times that quick fix, that's exactly what it is. It's a quick fix. It's like putting a Band-Aid on something. You're not, stitching it up. You're not, putting yourself through the healing process. Okay? So you gotta think long-term. Okay? Not the instant gratification. Look, a top listing agent knows that, a buyer today, even though they're trying to become a top listing agent, they haven't erased them working with buyers. They know that this buyer right now is a seller for me in the future. Not only that, this buyer right now is a person that can refer me to their aunt, their uncle, their brother, their sister, their coworker, their associate, their advocate, their neighbor, etc., who is a buyer and or a seller. They're thinking long term. So you need to think about everything long term. Every action that you're about to take, you need to figure out how is that going to impact me long term and not just in the short term. So that's number 6. Number 7, they believe that everything is possible. Top listing agent believes that everything is possible. Everything is possible. Okay? Because if we take a look at the opposite of that, a person who is on the other side of the spectrum, what do they think? It's possible for other people. It's not possible for me. Okay? So that's the world of doubt. They believe that everything is possible. Question for you is, do you believe that you can become a top listing agent? Yes or no? I mean, that's a possibility. It's possible. It's possible for anyone to become a top listing agent. It's possible for anyone to become a huge success. It's possible for anyone to have anything that they want to have. The question is, do you believe? Point number 2 is they believe in themselves. That's what we talked about. So they believe that everything is possible. Point number 8, we said they're generous, they're givers. They're generous, they're givers. A top listing agent is generous and they are givers. Now, I'm not talking about giving away your money or anything like that. The best way for me to describe this point is that they are generous in giving too much value. They don't believe in the competition. They don't believe that by me giving, my tactics, by me giving my strategies, by me giving my secrets, somebody else is going to come and take away my business or anything like that. They're generous in everything. Okay? Like, a lot of times people say, I'd like to know what the top listing agent is doing, or the top producer, or the top agent, or whatever they're doing. And I'm like, well, go ask them. Well, why would they tell me? Is their response. They'll tell you because they are givers. They are givers. But the way I'm looking at it is they are generous in giving as much value as they possibly can to the general public, to their community, to their associates, to their family, they're just givers. Look, there's 2 kinds of people out there. There's the givers and there's the takers. Okay? The givers are the ones that are usually the most successful in every single field. So important point number 8 is they are generous. Number 9, they believe in people. Look, this is like the 3rd time the word believe showed up in this conversation. They believe in people. They believe in people. I mean, think about it. Look, you got to believe in people. We're in a people business. We're in the people business. You cannot have a transaction without a person. You're not going to get a commission check without a person. You're not going to have an appointment without a person. You're not going to have anything in this business without people. We are in the people business. So they believe in people. And now I wanted to share that point with you about the believe in people in a different perspective. And the perspective it's a very psychological perspective. So let's go a little bit deep into the crazy mind of, Chadi Bazzi and my way of thinking, okay? People in general, okay? Number one, do not believe in themselves. So people in general, number one, do not believe in themselves, okay? And let alone somebody believing in them, okay? And then here comes someone that you're having a conversation with, and that person gives you a little inclination of them believing in you. How are you going to feel in that moment in the presence of that person? How are you going to feel in that moment in the presence of the person who believes or gives you the inclination that they believe in you? How are you going to feel? You're going to feel good. You're going to want to be around that person a lot more. So I want you to become the kind of person who believes in people, because when you believe in people, you listen to people differently, and people want to be heard. So when you listen to somebody different, when you let that person know that you're listening to them and that you believe in them, you've just captured a part of them that they are desperately seeking to be captured. Think about yourself right now. Do you want to be heard? The answer is yes. Do you want more people in your life to believe in you? Well, the answer is yes. Are you more likely to want to have more conversations with people who believe in you? Well, of course. Are you going to send your referrals and your business and your endorsements to those who make you feel like they believe in you, or someone else? We know the answer. Top listing agent, okay? We're not talking about this in an unethical manner. I mean, you got to genuinely really believe in people and have a love for people. Top listing agents, they believe in people. Okay, point number 10 is a top listing agent does not believe in luck. They don't believe that all the referrals, all the business they're getting, everything's happening as a matter of luck. They believe in creating their own luck. They believe in earning that luck. They believe in earning the business. They believe in working for it. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. I mean, what is luck? Luck shows up in what do they say, in overalls and hard work. Okay, so let me recap those 10 points so we can speed up the process a little bit. So here's what we said. We said a top listing agent, okay, understands that everything begins in their head. And now let's break down the 10 again, the examination. We said number one, okay, so we'll just say top listing agent, and we'll just say everyone else, okay? Top listing agent sees the positive. I want you to live in everything. Everyone else sees the struggle in everything, okay? The negative in everything. Number two, top listing agent believes in themselves. The opposite, well, they don't believe in themselves, okay? Number three, a top listing agent is someone who will take a risk. The other one is the one that's going to sit there and calculate the heck out of that risk and put themselves in so much fear that they ain't never going to take a risk, and that's a big risk in itself. Number four, a top listing agent makes quick decisions. The other person is the one that's going to sit there and try to dissect the whole entire situation and look for all the reasons why they should not make that decision. And in itself, they actually did make a quick decision that didn't even recognize it. It's the decision of stalling. Number five, a top listing agent is someone who is persistent. And, the opposite of that is someone who is not persistent and gives up easy. Number six, they think long term. Top listing agent thinks long term, and the other person, well, they think short term only. And that's why they have a short term fix and a long term struggle. Number seven, A top listing agent believes that everything's possible. The other person thinks it's only possible for some people. So you want to be in the world of abundance or in the world of lack. It's totally up to you. Number 8 is they are generous. They are givers. The opposite of that is they are takers. They're only looking at what's in it for me. And number 9 is they believe in people, and the other one is afraid of people. They don't believe that people believe in them, etc. And number 10, they don't believe in luck. They believe in creating their own luck. And then there's the other person on the opposite side saying, "Oh well, they got lucky. They got lucky. They didn't get lucky. They earned that luck." Okay, so guys, this is I tried to keep this about 20 minutes or so. We can definitely go deeper than that. We can go further than that. We probably should in a future episode of the Top Listing Agent Show. But this is just the last 15-20 minutes is a 15-20 minute, that you need to listen to more than one time. And, you should definitely go to shadibazzi.com/podcast for the show notes and take a look at, these 10 things and, ask yourself, for example, if you take a look at, number 3, they take risks. Ask yourself, am I a risk taker? Yes or no? Okay. Like grade yourself in every single one of those 10 areas and, really identify and become, aware of, do I possess that quality? Do I possess that mindset or do I not? And if you do, then, check it off that you do and try to identify the 1, 2, or 3, or 4 that you currently don't have that you got to have so you can have all those 10, strong level, mindsets to become a top listing agent. And let that become part of your checklist. Let that become part of what it is that you've identified that you need to work on. And, for example, in point number 2 is they believe in themselves. Maybe you don't believe in yourself. And it's okay that you don't believe in yourself. It's not okay long term, but it's okay to know that you don't believe in yourself right now. So that way you can work on developing that belief system. But for some people, they don't know how to develop that belief system. I'll tell you number 1 is in order for you to continue to work on developing that belief system is you got to continue to listen to positive podcasts like this one. So make sure you don't miss an episode. You need to, be reading, good quality books. I mean, every single week and every single episode, you see books right here on my desk. I mean, I'm burning like an average of 2 books so I could learn all these things that are going to give me, a much more stronger, much more positive mindset. But what else can you do? If you don't have the answer, then seek the answer. Okay, seek the answer. Why don't you go on Google and, just type up, how do I believe in myself? Okay, and then you'll get a bunch of articles and or videos, etc., that teach you how to develop the right belief system. And or who is it in your marketplace that you could reach out to that they believe in themselves, that they can help you create that belief system. Or I'm talking about the belief system here, but it could be about any one of those 10 points. Look, the bottom line is you're listening to the show. Okay, you're listening to this show. You are getting inspired, okay? And you are getting a new set of knowledge, a new set of information. But that's all this is it's information and it's knowledge. And unless you take action on it, then you are going to continue to live the way that you are living right now, okay? I want you to, if you're not listening to this on my website, I want you to go to shadibazzi.com/podcast, okay? And read the show notes, okay? Look at other episodes, okay? And make a to-do list on what it is that you need to act on based on this knowledge that you just received, and then begin to take action on it. So guys, this is a wrap for episode number 6 of the Top Listing Agent Show. As always, thank you very much for your listening, and I want you to do a couple of different things right now to wrap up the show. Number 1, I want you to take action on the information that you got from me. Number two, I want you to share this video and or podcast, depending on how you're consuming it, with someone whom you know can benefit from this conversation. Number three, if you're not already subscribed to the podcast, definitely go to iTunes and or Stitcher and subscribe to the podcast so I can send you a new episode every single week. Number four, if you haven't already done so, I want you to go to iTunes and leave me a positive rating and a positive review. I would really, really, really appreciate it. And last but not least, make sure you check out ShadiBazzi.com, where you can go to toplistingagent.net. Toplistingagent.net. I have a ton of free resources there for you, articles to read, videos to watch, all kind of trainings to assist you in becoming a top listing agent. So with that said, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next episode of the Top Listing Agent Show. Take care. Bye-bye.